All I'm saying is that gangs in New York City made it a whole lot easier for when people walk into the prison system to be able to rock the phone, rock the TV, do a lot of things that a lot of people wouldn't be able to do if it wasn't for these movements that were formed within the prison system in New York City. And that's just a fact. Before that, sure, people may say, or anyone is going to say, you know what, I was rocking. Yeah, but we're not talking about you. We're talking about the rules and regulations that's set in play. I remember a time, well, this is facts. I remember a time when you were walking to Rikers Island or anywhere and you had to really pop, make it hot to use the phone. And then I also remember when it changed and you were walking a house and dudes who asked from the gate, which is the Spanish phone or which is the black phone. And who you think made that happen for you? The Spanish gangs and the black gangs. And in other places besides New York, you got to walk in and you got to pick and choose who you're going to roll with. And that's a fact. In New York City, we don't let that happen to you. You can go hang out with the blacks, whites, Puerto Ricans, whoever. This is just New York City facts that if it wasn't for the gang culture or organizations, nations, whatever, so have you, yeah, a lot of blood was shed. And I don't think the respects or the appreciation is shown enough for these things that a lot of people are being able to acquire or have a privilege to use nowadays that made it a whole lot easier to them. It's a fact. You leave in the comments if you think I'm wrong or I'm saying something out of this world. Because I don't think, I wasn't there too long ago and a lot of things have not changed. People keep the torch going. It is what it is. The only thing that's probably changed is the Dominican gang is getting deeper and the Crips are coming up. Hard body on the island also. When before certain things people never want to talk about was that a lot of people, blacks themselves, were abusing the Crips. That's a fact. Now everybody want to know the Crips are my boys. I got mad boys that are Crips. Of course. Because you see them blowing up now. So what happened? You shook? Huh? Ha ha ha, let's chill. That's the part of the show where it's entertainment. But check this out, man. It's just the bottom line. In a lot of other states, you gotta walk in there. And if you Crip, you chill with the Crips. If you Blood, you chill with the Bloods. You King, you chill with the Kings. You any Padre, you hang out with Padre. You Vatos, you chill with Vatos. You Soreño, you chill with Soreños. From what I hear so far, it's changing little by little. It's 2020. People starting to see a whole lot of things different, right? So if you're gonna stay stuck on the past, then that's you. I know today, I choose to move forward. Of course, there's a lot of people that want to see you stuck in what they deem to be fit for them or for what they believe in. But we not living their life. You got to live yours. Because at the end of the day, only a chosen few are willing to die for you. And that's just a fact. Look, and we're never here promoting gang violence. This is not a gang channel. But we're here to acknowledge those that may never be acknowledged. And give knowledge to those that are being fed the wrong knowledge. Those that are being misguided, that are being misled by the misinformed. Facts. Look, Rikers Island and everywhere in New York, there was a time when you used to walk in and it'd be like, you had to pop if you wanted to make a phone call. And I'm pretty sure even when the phones turned to be clicks, you still had to pop. It was still slot time. Like the CEOs thought that something was going to change like that. I mean, situations just got worse because now people started getting robbed for their PIN number. This public information. I'm not saying nothing that nobody doesn't know. But you leave in the comments if you think it was easier for people in general, for dudes that you know would normally not be using the phone at that time, as the years changed, like in the 90s, we talking about past 93, past 95, from there on, was it easier for them to use the phone then? Or was it easier when there wasn't those Latin gangs, those black gangs involved? When do you think it was easier for the average dude to walk into the Rikers Island and use the phone? Leave it in the comments. For me, I'm going to keep it 100. Like I said, it was easier when the organizations, nations, and all that got involved, because now it was like we need a jack for our people as a whole. And then they started, their peoples had 2 hours, and it's no secret. Everybody knows. The Bloods had 2 hours. If you was the GOAT team, you had 2 hours. If you was so-and-so, you had 2 hours for your peoples. And that was a fact. And then other people got on the phone. In certain spots, that's just the way it was. You at least had to have 2 hours, even if you was by yourself. I know when I walked in, I was beefing and crying about, yo, what's up with the 2 hours for the peoples? What? Y'all ain't got a jack? Oh, no. Boom. That's when it got crazy. But it goes to say that people were just walking in to the cell block. And if he was a Spanish dude from the muscle, people would be like, yo, Pike, yo, you get on over here. When before that, when it was all straight up and it was just neutrals, everybody, it didn't matter if he was a Spanish dude. You had to come in and really pop for that. You really had to pop to watch Spanish TV or watch Soul Train if you was in an all Spanish channel. You know, I want to keep it even here. I don't want to make this sound bigger than this. There's no big I's and little, you know what I'm saying? Little U's here. So I just say all that to say that even with the brothers' phone, them starting the phone, them having certain time on the TV or having a TV or having a whole TV, however it went down, it made it easier for their people. It's just point blank. Because if they wound up in an all Latin house, it was a rizzy. It's like Spanish TV all day. And I mean, people get upset, like, oh, that's wrong. But you know what? As the people, that's what we do. Our bad side starts taking over. So you're deeper, so your abuse towards others is worse. You may not notice it because this is part of the problem with everything today. You don't notice it, but you being first in everything, you having 7 hours on a phone when everybody else has 6 minutes, looks like to other people as a super abuse. They're not looking at it the way that you may be seeing it as, you know what? I gotta do that for my peoples. They feel like F that. You understand? Because they not in movements. They not in organizations. They not in nations. It's very hard to explain to a person that's never been involved in something. It's like you can say all you want that something is not meant to be in a negative manner or that was never the intent, and don't matter what you say, that question in their head would always be there. So then why? And how come? But nah. You understand what I'm saying? So I could explain it my way. Another dude could explain it his way. 1 million people could explain it. And the bottom line is that it's almost as if you never experienced it, I feel like it's hard for you to even comprehend like what it really means. And that's just the best way that I could. I mean, there's people that do get it, but I think there's more that don't. And as long as that's in play, nothing is never going to get resolved where people just keep. But then, you know, the question asking, and this one explains it this way, but you're lying because he said this or he said that. The bottom line is, prison is for no one. So you don't want to find out anyway. Maybe you want to just keep watching it on videos. Trust me. Because for you, if you ever get locked up and you're Latin, or if you're a dark-skinned brother, if you're a white brother, people have got murked, are no longer here because they felt in their heart that they was going all out, as crazy as it sounds, but so that you could have a better life when you come through the system. It's just facts. And don't matter how someone else tries to paint it, people fought the administrations. People fought the authorities for you to be able to receive them packages that you receive right now while you in the state prison. People fought so that you can be able to go walk to pick up that package and be able to get back to your housing unit without getting robbed. And it didn't matter if you was gang, because now when people see you coming through with that package, they just look at you as you're a Latino brother or you're a black brother, and he might be gang. So there's like a few thoughts there of, should I take this from this dude? Which before it was just off of impulse, because there was no one holding you down. You understand? And I'm not saying that everybody joins things for protection. I never looked at those things as a thing for protection. I looked at it as movements to uplift your people as a whole, to fight for a cause so that your people could have what they're entitled to have, and not from another inmate, from the administration itself. See what it is, we gave a lot of people the freedom to be able to walk around buildings. And this is a fact. You know, we gave people the freedom to be able to walk around Rikers Island as a dark-skinned brother, as a Latino brother, with people, even when people was super gangster. All right, let me put it this way. Like, you would come through, boom, you're a Spanish brother, let's say. You would get yapped from the muscle. Boom, I'm taking that. Nowadays, you come through, there's still some real gorilla dudes that are going to bring it to you, like, regardless. Like, anybody could get it. But anybody that's ever been locked up and tells me right now that people don't second think this, like think it over again before they act, I don't think you're really thinking. I'm talking about before rat hunters came into play, before kings came into play, before blood came into play, before patria came into play, before nieta came into play, before all this came into play. No one was really thinking or caring who a dude was down with, because you just had to get busy, point blank. What I'm saying is that Bloods, Crips, Patrias, rat hunters, kings, nietas, whatever may be, made it a little more easier and a little more comfortable for everybody else just to rock and do things that they normally would not be doing way back before this started. Just facts. Look, and I know a lot of dudes are probably gonna be stirred up about this one. Like, nah, But if you really think about it and you analyze what I'm saying, besides all the other nutty things that may be going through your head, besides looking at my Ray-Bans, besides looking at the hat, the whole image, and before judging on what you think about me, don't worry about you looking at me. You're not supposed to be here to be looking at another man and what he looks like or what he's doing or how he's dressed, right? Pay attention to what's being said, right? So when I say something, the fact is that it's real, right? It's coming from my heart because I don't write nothing down. I don't none of that. I don't practice nothing. So I'm just saying it from where I see it at that moment. And of course, sometimes I may word things in a wrong way. Uh, and I someone points something out to me and I'd be like, maybe I shouldn't have worded it that way. But that comes in with not practicing none of this. I think to me that's more real. If I'm watching a show, I want the reality. I want the real. I want the raw. I want how you feel. And this is just how I feel about that situation right there. When people ask me and someone asked me that question way before, a lot of people keep asking me that question, like, when do you think it was easier for people? And I think ever since the um, evolution of, you know, whether it be gang culture, whether it be a nation, whether it be an organization, I think that that made it a lot more comfortable for people to have a easier life during their incarceration. And sure, things may happen and things may pop within those organizations or gangs or what have you, but when people be like, yo, I went through, and this is no hate and no disrespect to nobody, but this is just my opinion and how I feel, right? I'm entitled to that. I am human, by the way, if you guys didn't know, all right? So when a dude be like, yo, I got locked up, I went through the island, I went up north, and I stayed neutral. I was holding it down. I always ask myself, or I ask the person, who were you hanging out with the most? Like, cause I mean, it's rare that you could see a dude that was like straight neutral and he was not hanging out with nobody that was affiliated or no one that was connected, however you want to word it. 99.9% of the time, a lot of dudes were hanging out with dudes that were, it was rare dude that be like, I'm not dealing with him because he's in a clique or gang. I don't talk to them dudes. I just talk to dudes that are involved in nothing. That's hard to do because if you go through the island and you go in a house, it's probably a handful of neutrals. Facts. In a lot of places I've been in, well, I've been in mostly super high, high classification spots. I ain't even trying to sound crazy or sound like I'm showing off or whatever. It's nothing to show off about. I don't glorify prison, jail, or institutions. I just tell my story and I explain it a little to let people know what's going on and what may happen and what's not happening. And from time to time, I do that. Other than that, I'm just telling my story. But with that being said, it's facts. A lot of these dudes, you ask them and they be like, well, I was hanging out with the Bloods. I was hanging out with the Crips. Or I was hanging out with the Kings. Okay. So you was hanging out with them. There's a lot of people that want the perks. They want the privileges, but they don't want to join. Because they talk about they don't like to be told what to do. And it's more like you don't want to do. You don't want no involvement with what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to be able to say, nah, I ain't got to do that. You bugging? That's crazy. And look, now you're just a crash dummy if you're just going to listen to what the next man is sending you to do. If you're involved in a clique, it doesn't work that way. People use people. Then that's just a fact. But if you a man, before anything, you're not gonna allow somebody just to tell you, you gotta go do this right now. And it's some crash dummy stuff. Like about what? That's what a real dude would do. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what? Facts. I'm gonna deal with this, but I'm gonna deal with you after that. You feel me? For thinking I'm some cornball and you understand? And that's just the way life is for people that know what they into. But time and time again, a lot of dudes come home and be like, nah, I didn't join nothing, bro. You was every day with the Kings. You was every day with the Bloods. You was every day with the Crips. You were looked as if when things went down, guess what, bro? Yeah, you was going to get it too. That's a fact. or you thought that somebody had to tell you that or explain that to you. You should know that on your own. Like if things hit the fan, you're going to get hit up too. Because they see you, people see you as one anyway. I know plenty of dudes that were just hanging out with cliques or organizations or nations, and when things hit the fan, Maletan go. He had to be out. He was on the next thing smoking. Like there was nothing that could have saved him. And ain't nobody was worried about that he was neutral at all. What I'm saying is this, that in New York City, or to me and to a lot of other people, what mattered was that, or what matters to me at most, F anybody else, but I know that a lot of people feel that way. What really matters is that at the end of the day, you know where you stand at. It don't matter if you hanging out with a dude from another clique and you from this clique, but y'all always together. Cause when I was locked up and when I was doing my thing back in them days, I would hang out with people from another clique if I had to. If that was my man, we grew up, we lived in the same neighborhood. But if something broke out, everything stops. Like I'm with my people. And everybody knew that. Like, yeah, War's cool, he's a good dude, but he would tear you up for the GOAT team. That's just the facts. And never glorifying. We're just telling a story in hopes that someone will learn out of something that we're saying so that people will get it and that you don't end up in the places that I've been, or that anyone that, bottom line is, you don't want to be going to jail, man. You want to be free. You want to stay in these streets, because in the penitentiary is where your whole life stops. Everything stops. And for the slightest of things, it may be the place where you take your last breath. Over a plastic phone or a TV that if you ever gonna be released, you're not taking home with you. You got a TV in the place you came from before you went to jail. And you know, who am I? Because I did all these dumb things. But that's why I could explain them. I would go all out for plastic, for things that were not really mine. But I'm like, yo, that's me. That's mine. Or we got that. When in reality, it belonged to the correctional institution. Facts.